Kate, what day is it today?
It's Monday!
Where are we going?
To see the Harry Potter studios.
Okay, I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible because A, I hate doing voiceovers, and B, Kate's video tomorrow is essentially going to be the same thing, so to save you from hearing it twice, I'm just going to dive right into it. Okay, first of all, to get to the studios you have to get the special Harry Potter bus, which is really cool. Even though I'm not in Gryffindor, it's really upsetting.
You've got the fucking music.
You've got the music. And then you actually walk in, and inside the entrance of the studios they have pictures of each of the cast members in their costumes, and that's really cool. Gets you all psyched up for it, and you're like, oh, look at Daniel Radcliffe, he was so young. This is literally the best thing that ever happened to me. We first had lunch and then went to the gift shop, which was amazing, even if it was like ridiculously overpriced. Amanda. I know. So then you queue up. You go in, the first thing you do is you watch this documentary about the kind of Harry Potter phenomena and whatever. As soon as like the video started and it showed like David Heyman, producer of the Harry Potter films, talking about when he first read the first one and like had the script written for it, how like he was really into it, and I just like to cry right off the bat, just and that was really awkward because Kate's sister and her mum were there, and they were like, well, Kate, why is she crying? And you go further in, and there's like this cinema section where you watch the a like short 5-minute introduction to the studios done, and it's like a pre-filmed thing, obviously, with Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint all talking about like their experiences on the set and whatever. And I was still crying at this point, but watching that made me cry even harder, and it was just horrible and really embarrassing for me. And it closes with Dan and Emma and Rupert going into the Great Hall essentially, and then as they go in it kind of pans up and like this curtain, the screen comes up, and you actually see the actual entrance to the Great Hall. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what happens. And so the first bit you go in is the Great Hall, and then you go outside, and there's, at this point I realised, despite the whole like, oh, you can't film in here, you can't film, they don't actually give that much of a shit. So I just took out my video camera, and so when you go outside you can see the night bus and Hagrid's motorbike and the Ford Anglia and Privet Drive, and it's just really cool. And I had butterbeer. Okay, butterbeer. Moment of truth. All my childhood is riding on this. It's good. It's a little bit too fizzy, I think. But I like that. I actually really like that. Oh, no, there's one last bit. If you know this about me, but Lily and James are like one of my favourite couples of the series, next to Harry and Ginny, and let's go filming in front of them. Yeah, that just happened. You go into this other bit, and they basically show all the animatronics. They have this weird Hagrid's head thing, which is really creepy and frightening. They have Aragog, which is also really creepy and frightening. They have the Basilisk head, which is also really creepy and frightening, and they have the Basilisk skeleton, which is really creepy and frightening, but it's really impressive, I guess, despite the fact that it's absolutely terrifying. It's hard to say Diagon Alley and not diagonally like Harry did in the films, but yeah, Diagon Alley was really cool. And then they had like this kind of art gallery, and they have all the models for like Hagrid's hut and the Whomping Willow, and it's all really awesome. I've always been really into models. You're walking around looking at the models and you're like, oh, this is really cool, and they have this kind of nice music playing, you're like, oh, this is nice, cool. And then you come around the corner and you see the best bit in the entire tour. You know how I said I'd stopped crying? yeah, I started crying again.
Words can't describe how I just came around the corner and burst into tears.
And like, I realised that as I was walking around and I was seeing all these different people from different places, from different ages, all fascinated and excited about everything that they could see. And I thought back to the beginning of the tour where we saw the documentary about how phenomenal Harry Potter has been and the impact that it's had on the world. And you know, they do say that we're the Harry Potter generation, and you know, people say that you could say that about anything. You could say that we're the Twilight generation, you could say that we're the Percy Jackson generation, you could say that about anything that's vaguely impacted on our culture from the last 2 decades, but not really, you know, you can't. Nothing was as big as this. And you know, I'm glad there's not been anything like this, because it's something that's going to stay with me. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.